Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be reviewing a record which was requested by commenter Daddy Sanasi Silver. Like, he also makes some videos like on YouTube, so yeah, thank you very much for requesting this album. He's asked me to look at the Police, the final record by the Police, Synchronicity. So yeah, I'll just be doing my usual thing in this video, a bit of background information about the record, then show you my vinyl copy, and then going over each of the album songs in detail. So this was the band's fifth and final studio album, released on the 17th of June in 1983. It was recorded at George Martin's Air Studios in Montserrat with producer Hugh Padgham. Apparently, recording the record, the band's tensions were very fraught. They recorded the basic tracks live, but all in different rooms. Andy Summers in one studio, Copeland in the other, and Sting was in the control room, simply because they couldn't get on by this point. Musically, they were moving in a different direction, moving away from the reggae and sort of ska influence off their first the first four records, first three especially, and embracing more sort of synthesizers and other forms of world music. It was a hugely successful album for the band. It hit #1 in both the UK and America, where it's estimated to have sold 8 million copies. It was nominated for 5 Grammy Awards, and critically was praised for the song quality and also the production off the record. Now, contrary to what I actually thought originally about the Police's sort of history, I thought that they pretty much split up straight after this album came out. It was always going to be the final record, simply because they weren't getting on, so I thought, oh, we'll make one more record and then split up. But actually, they actually toured very, very extensively behind this record, and intended only to go on hiatus for a brief period of time, because they did actually try and reconvene in 1986. But I think it was drummer Stuart Copeland had broken his collarbone the day before the session, so no work really got done. The only stuff that really came from those sessions was remixes of "Don't Stand So Close to Me" and I think one other song as well. So it wasn't really a successful comeback sessions in 1986. I think as well because Sting was also enjoying success as a solo artist, so really why for him should he go back to playing with two people he didn't particularly like working with. So on to the vinyl records here. This is just my copy of it. Apparently there was about 36 different colour and sort of photo variations, what you could get for the record. A little bit silly, I bet some people have collected them all, but that's just the photos what you get on this one here. Packaging, it sort of comes out the top, which is quite unique. In my copy, you get a sort of insert, which is the sort of official Police merchandise, which is a nice thing. I think a lot of records came with this, but they were probably mostly these are sort of thrown out or or sent off to actually get some merchandise. But yeah, here's the inner sleeve. They're just lyrics and a band pick on on that one side, and then the record label. I do really like the label to this. It's sort of this nice sort of custom label, slightly different on both sides. So yeah, that is the vinyl record looked at. But anyway, now I'm going to go over each of the album's songs. I'll score each track out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. Okay, so the album opens up with Synchronicity Born, which I'm not the biggest fan of this song. It kind of begins with the sort of Miss Mariba style sound, which works well, and the song gets going. It is quite a fast moving song, but it's quite forgettable though, and really pales in comparison to its counterpart Synchronicity 2, which we'll get to shortly. And by the end of this song, it is just quite annoying. So you're just sort of shouting the line Synchronicity, and it doesn't really work too well for me. Again, a little bit dragged out. So a little bit of a weak start to the record. Next one though, I think is pretty good and really underrated. It's called "Walking in Your Footsteps," which again is quite sort of minimalistic. This track here, like you've got some sort of synth textures in it, like these kind of like African style beats on it. Sting does a really lovely, nice soft vocal like on the start, which gets more powerful like as like the song goes on. Like it really builds tension well, this track. And like, yeah, like as I said, like pretty like underrated song, and like I really do like how like they restrained themselves like from the song. They didn't try like over produce it, like over perform this track. Like they just kept it nice and soft, which works really well. So Walking in Your Footsteps would get an 8 out of 10 from me. Another pretty good song follows that called Oh My God, which is, yeah, like decent track here. Sting's bass like is at like the 4 like on this song, like in like the mix. The chorus like is quite funky, like and like danceable, but I would say with this song it does go on a little bit too long, and like also by at the end that these sort of saxophones kind of take over the song, which it doesn't really help it, like in like my opinion. But like yeah, not a bad song there though. Oh My God, like just not one which I would really like play like in isolation, like off the record. And then we get easily one of the worst songs like I've ever really heard, like to be honest with you. Like certainly that one, like the worst songs like to be on like a great album like this. It's Mother, which is the sole Andy Summers song like on the record. Like he like got this song, I would say probably to get like a little bit of like money like from sort of like songwriting like royalties, because I think like they could all tell that this was going to be like quite a big selling successful album like whatever they put on it. But this song is dreadful. He's got these sort of screeching vocals on it, like about the singer's like mother phoning him, and like really, I just need to skip this song like whenever like whenever like I'm like listening to this record. It's just unpleasant, and like it's not even like artistically strong like either. Like it's not like it's like breaking new ground. It's not like it's like they're doing something sort of creative. It's just really, really crap. So yeah, like Mother, really, really bad song there. Like a 1 out of 10. I believe the first time I think I've ever given a song a 1 out of 10. Things do pick up a little bit with the next song called Miss Grande, which is the Stuart Copeland composition like on the record. Like however, like I believe Sting does like sing this song. Like which does work quite well. I mean, it has a pleasant sort of guitar sound on it, which is just kind of like sort of jangly, like African sort of quality to it. But compositionally, the song like is quite weak. Once again, it's very forgettable. Like and like it is very clear, like with these two songs, like who like the main like sort of like songwriting talent was like in like the Police. Like it was Sting's songs which really like made the band. Many miles away, something crawls from this line. Now, thankfully, the first side does close with a really, really great song. Like certainly the first fantastic track like on the record for me, Synchronicity 2, which yeah, this one is just a brilliant song. It's got a great sound in it, like especially like on like the guitars. It's really sort of like Andy Summers' first moment to show that what like he was like really capable of. Lyrically, according to Wikipedia, this song tells the story of a husband and like a married father whose home, work life, and environment are dispiriting and depressing. So yeah, like this song here, like I mean, like it is a great track. Like I think, I mean, like another single from the album, reached number 17 in the UK and 16 in America. So yeah, pretty good song there. Synchronicity 2 closes off the first side. And then side 2 starts with probably one of the most popular, most enduring songs like off like all time, really, like Every Breath You Take, which I was debating whether to give this like a 10 like out of 10 like or like a 9. Like I've given it a 10 out of 10 because I will say it is a fantastic song. I mean, like sort of like the performance on it, the production, it all works really well. Like you can understand like why this was such a huge like hit single. And like lyrically, like as well, like it isn't like sort of like your typical like love song. Like it's like quite a sort of controlling and like almost sort of Big Brother sort of vision, like which most people like they do like mistake this song like for like being like a simple love song. Like it's kind of like a quite a popular like wedding song this, but like it's kind of like a lot of people do like miss the point with this track. I mean, like, they also, like, the band performance as well, it's got sort of great tension in it, like, it's held down, like, by Summer's guitar riff, just works really well, like, and, like, the bridge section, like, is just, like, sort of like a, like, burst of freedom, really, like, from, like, this sort of, like, very, like, restrained, like, structure, like, which the song has had, like, up to that point. I mean, yes, it has been, like, overplayed, like, I don't really, like, feel the need to hear this song too much, like, just because you hear it, like, everywhere, but a great song, like, is a great song, and this, is, certainly, like, one of, like, the Police's, very, very best tracks there, so every breath you take would get a 10 out of 10 from me. So the next one I think is actually better. It's called King of Pain, which this song has a really great, like, introduction on it. It's very sort of bare bones. You just get Sting's vocal, like the sort of like marimba sort of xylophone thing, like, and like a piano. But I love the way it builds up from that through, like, the second verse, like, and like the chorus. This was a song written by Sting during his divorce, like, from, like, his wife. Like, I believe, like, it was quite a nasty divorce, like, what, like, he was going through. So those ideas do, like, sort of permeate, like, not only this song but also, like, Every Breath You Take and Wrapped Around Your Finger. Also, another one of the album's singles reached number 3, like, in, like, America, but only got to number 17 here in the UK. A little bit disappointing there, because it is a wonderful, wonderful song there, King of Pain. A 10 out of 10 from me. The next number up is called Wrapped Around Your Finger, which is a solid track this year. Like, it was, again, another one of the singles from the record, like, another quite a popular song, but it's never been a huge favourite of mine personally. It's very slow, very brooding sort of verse, like, on this track here, and, like, again, like, another sort of spiteful lyric about, like, turning the tables, like, on someone, like, who's, like, previously been, like, in charge of you, like, in, like, sort of like controlling setting, like a Sting put it. Like I said, like, yet another single from the record, which done very well, reached 7 in the UK and 8 in America. So yeah, like, a really good track there. Just never been a huge favourite of mine personally. And then the record closes off with the wonderful Tea in the Sahara, which I think is a really great, really understated track to finish. It's got a really sort of dark bass line on it and, like, almost like eerie, like, atmosphere throughout it. Like many, like, others, like, on, like, the, like many other songs, like, on this record, like, the lyrics were inspired by, like, literature works. Like, in, like, this case, it was a book by Paul Bowles called The Sheltering Sky. I mean, some of, like, the lyrics, they may be, like, a little bit clunky, like, on, like, this one here. Like, the rhyming does sound a little bit forced, like, in places, but the actual song itself, I think, works really well. Like, the atmosphere, like, the bass line, and, like, Copeland's drumming, they all just come together greatly to make a wonderful track to close off the record. Tea in the Sahara would get a 9 out of 10 from me. Okay, so overall, this album would score 74%. So yeah, overall, I have got sort of mixed feelings about it. And like, because there are some classic songs like on this record, like, I can't deny that. Like, Every Breath You Take, King of Pain, Wrapped Around Your Finger, and like, Synchronicity 2 are all wonderful, wonderful songs. It's just, there's a lot of filler, like, on here, which is the main thing. Like, on, like, the first side, especially, like, when, like, you first, like, put on this record, you think, like, it's such a big selling, like, sort of, like, such a, highly hyped album, that, like, the first, like, say, 5 songs, like, with the exception, like, Walking in Your Footsteps, they're all quite, like, underwhelming. It is only that when you get to Synchronicity 2 that, like, the record really picks up. Like, it is probably, like, quite a rare case, like, of a record being, like, backloaded, like, with all of the hits. Like, most albums you tend to get, like, better songs, like, opening up the record. This record, like, is, like, the opposite way around. And, like, I think it is also good that the band, they are trying to do something a little bit different. They are sort of, like, embracing, like, the modern production, like, of, like, the time. But again, it is maybe sort of style, like, over substance, like, with many, like, of, like, these songs. Like, on some tracks, like, the writing material just isn't, like, up to scratch. But still, though, like, a worthwhile, like, album, like, to pick up here, and, like, definitely one of, like, the most successful records, like, of the 1980s. So yeah, this has been my review of the Police album Synchronicity. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye. Sky.
Across the desert he would fly.